Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm at the NEC National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham for Iconic Auctioneers Classic Car Auction. It's a mind-boggling array of cars here. So they've got a few different auctions. They've got a bike auction, they've got a race car auction, but the two main auctions are what they call their classic auction, which tends to be the slightly cheaper end of the spectrum of classic cars. Most of those kind of behind me there. And then they've also got what they call their iconic sale, which is generally the slightly more prestigious cars, higher value cars, and most of those are over this side here. And I'll try and mix in cars from both of those different auctions in these videos. Also some really interesting cars and famous cars here. So a couple, I think, of Harry Metcalfe's cars are in here, I believe. I think he's put the ESPADA in and possibly his Jag, if I remember correctly. And also Rowan Atkinson's E-Type as well. So I'll try and find those in this sea of cars and feature those in this video. A couple of points to note about this iconic auction. Firstly, it is absolutely rammed full of cars. There are so many cars, some absolutely incredible quality cars, huge diversity. It's also rammed full of people, so it's actually quite difficult to look around some of these cars. Something else to note is that they're all locked, so you can't get in, you can't start cars. And to be honest, having them locked is a bit of a pain. For me particularly, I like to look around. Obviously you can ask the staff here to get the keys and look at them, but that's not really practicable if you're looking at large numbers of cars, obviously. So I will do what I can to film these cars, and let's get going. So I was checking out this DB7 for someone earlier. It's a really nice car, generally very good, but the paintwork is quite scuffed. It needs a good polish. It's got lots of kind of swirl marks on it. That would all come out, but it's a bit of a shame. So this is a 2002. It's a DB7 Vantage Volante, so the Vantage with the V12, of course, rather than the inline 6 supercharged. And Volante meaning convertible in Aston Martin speak. It's also a manual, so fairly rare combination here, V12, Volante and manual. Yeah, this paintwork looks just so tired. It's these electric lights obviously show up all the swirl marks. That would polish out, it just needs a good paint correction. Otherwise, it looks in really good condition. As I was looking at this for someone, I have grovelled around. There's some underside rust, but nothing major. And generally looks pretty good under there. The footwells are in excellent condition, no wetness there. This has clearly been a garaged car, I would say. Some wear on that seat bolster, but it's minor. None of the issues with the leather retracting under the windscreen, which is a common problem if they're stored in the sun. And also these wood veneers do deteriorate quite badly. Anyway, I think this is quite a rare opportunity for a Volante V12 manual. And consequently, it's guided at £20,000 to £25,000 and is on 23,000 miles. Such a low mileage one, I could see it making that. So I think this is one of the best value cars here, actually. This Mark II Jaguar, it's a 1962. And this chrome work is excellent. It's been recommissioned to a high standard recently, and it is in absolutely lovely condition. I think this is potentially one of the best buys here in terms of value for money. I mean, it is a really exceptionally good condition car, and it's only so cheap because it's a 2.4. You know, add an extra litre to the engine and add an extra 10 grand. I mean, it really is a really beautiful car. Only 4 owners since new. And look at that engine bay. I mean, that's absolutely beautiful. 42,000 miles and guided at £10,000 to £12,000. I reckon this is a great buy. You see shoddy ones of these 3.4s going for, you know, what, approaching 10. And this is really good condition. Lots of patina on the seats, but overall a really excellent car. I think that's fantastic value. I love this Healey, so I so often pass by Healeys nowadays. Not because I don't like them, but because I think they're just sometimes massively overvalued. And just people put silly prices on them and they just don't sell. This is beautiful. It's 1960. It's a 3000 BT7, so Mark I with the 2.9 litre straight 6. And this is built to fast road specification and is in absolutely outstanding condition. I really love this car. In fact, I've spotted my first imperfection. There we go, a minor chip there. But in all seriousness, this is brilliant. Obviously, it's got the half roll cage here. It's got a side exit exhaust, and it's had apparently a 1,200-hour rebuild. Yeah, I mean, this is really exceptionally good. Beautiful. I mean, the interior is excellent condition, but it's actually the exterior and the mechanicals it's had done that make this so good. So, you know, as part of that, had a full engine gearbox rebuild. It's got the side vents to aid cooling, different cam profile, work on the crankshaft, and just a lovely, lovely car. And as you can tell, I'm waxing lyrical about this. As I said, I think a lot of these are often overpriced. This at £40,000 to £45,000, you know, normally I'd say it's probably overpriced, but one like this, I think that's actually not bad. Maybe not everyone will like this because it's not original, been modified. I think it's excellent and I love it. So as you might expect, there are quite a few E-types here. I'm standing next to 3 of them, in fact. A couple of Series 1 here, and this is an interesting one I'm just going to feature because, I don't know, it's a bit of a funny one in some ways. So 1961, Series 1, obviously 3.8, and a flat floor. And interesting for a number of reasons. It's generally in very good condition, and that's because it's had 65 grand spent on it between 2013 and 2017. It looks excellent, underneath looks excellent. Door which doesn't appear to shut at all properly. So I also noticed it's unfortunately got a smashed indicator back there. Underside looks excellent though. Although this is supposedly a flat floor, you can see in here actually that it is no longer a flat floor. So I don't know, how much does that devalue it? You tell me, I'm no expert, but you can see here this has the later kind of modified floor and is no longer a flat floor. In generally very good condition, other than these doors, indicator. I think it's also got a later airbox. I'm not an expert on these, but I've just been speaking to someone who tells me this is a 4.2 airbox rather than the 3.8. So I suppose that's why this is only guided at 50 to 70,000 pounds, whereas perhaps a more original flat floor might be nearer, what, 80 these days? You know, the days of them fetching 100 are probably gone, right? Anyway, interesting car, let me know what you think. So probably one of my favourite cars, the Mercedes 190 SL, just beautiful. 1960 this one. And this is an unrestored example, it's left-hand drive, came to the UK. Sorry about all the car alarms going off in the background, I hope it's not too distracting. It came from America in 2014. It's unrestored, as I say, but you know, considering that looks in really very good condition. There's, you know, minor chips to the paintwork and etc. But it's not pretending to be a fully restored Concours example. Obviously, 1.9 litre, 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed manual. And like I say, considering this is unrestored, really very good condition. It's about 49,000 miles, so really very low mileage for the age. Recently had £20,000 spent on it, various mechanical work, and also a new mohair hood. And we'll come back to that in a sec, just to show you some minor chips down the edge of that bonnet. But you know, that chrome work for an unrestored car is excellent. And coming back to that mohair hood, I don't know, it says it's been replaced, and I'm sure it has, but yeah, that's quite a clear rip in it. So, just been having a good debate with actually a 190 SL owner about this car. This is guided, as you can see, 85 to 100,000 pounds, 105,000 pounds. I said absolutely no way it's going to make that. So what do you think? He reckons it'll make that. Maybe at this auction, It will. I think, you know, cars like this can command a higher price, I think, at the iconic auction over other auctions. I think that's overpriced for an unrestored example, and I would say, you know, more like 70, but I guess we'll see. I'm not sure what the most expensive guided cars here are, but this has got to be one of them. 700 to 800,000 pounds. It's a 1995, sorry mate, it's a 1995 Porsche 993 911 Turbo from Porsche exclusive department. So number 10 of only 14 of these made. Only 5 in right-hand drive. So as you might know, I'm not really a Porsche expert, don't know huge amounts about them, but I understand this is only 13,000 kilometers, by the way. I understand that this was made to order because after the 964 went, there was no 993 turbo offering unless you got this, a bespoke Porsche exclusive car. So obviously extremely rare, and as we all know, these rare 911s fetch what in my mind is crazy, silly money. But you're buying for the rarity, right? 1 of 14. So if you have £750,000 spare, this could be yours. 3.6 turbo, G50 gearbox. Yeah, I'm not sure I would buy it even if I had that money. It just doesn't seem like good value to me. I'm sure someone will love it though. Very distinctive colour as well. So here's a very well-known car, Harry Metcalfe's XJC V12. It's been on his channel loads. Famous car. Had quite a lot done to this. It sounds epic. I remember watching it. Has he had some engine work done as well? I think it runs like 300 horsepower or something. Lovely, lovely car. These pillarless Jags are really beautiful cars. This is guided at 60 to 80,000 pounds. It's a lot of money. But I think Harry's name will probably add a little bit of a premium to that, if I'm honest. Nevertheless, a lovely, lovely car. Yeah, look at it. I'd love this. It sounded amazing in his videos as well. Such a sleek design. Manual gearbox, of course, which really makes it, of course. Yeah, lovely. Good to see this in the metal. So a Ford legend here, Rally Homologation Special, absolute legend of a car, 1990 Ford RS200, and this is an S, so super rare. I think only 20 S's were made, and power upgrade to about 350 horsepower in these. These intakes are just insane. What a design. This one has been used. It's done about 20,000 miles. A lot of these just don't get used. They're just exhibition pieces, basically. So nice to see this one has been used. And look, here you can see right in the engine bay. What a car. Just legendary. And Rosso red as well, which I think I've seen one in this colour before, but you don't see too many in this colour. And this is guided at 280 to 340,000 pounds. Wow, that's a lot of money, isn't it? So just a brief interlude. I was thinking more about the RS200 after the auction and the other red one that I mentioned I saw. Now there were only 2, I believe, RS200 S's in that colour. And so I was looking back to see where I recognised the car from. And it turns out, I think it was almost definitely the iconic auction in February this year at Race Retro. I actually did a video on that. I looked back through my video, I didn't include the price unfortunately. And what seems slightly strange is that I can't find it now on the iconic website in their past auction history results either. So I'm almost certain it was the same car in that February auction. And potentially, I don't know this, but maybe they've taken down the sale price in that car from the previous sale so as not to advertise and what it sold for last time potentially affect the price this auction. But really interested to know if anyone knows a bit more about that sale and what it sold for, of course. A really lovely car here, W113 era 230 SL Pagoda. This one actually had a 4-year restoration back in 2014. Still looks in really superb condition. Lovely, lovely car. Comes with a factory hardtop, of course. 2.3 litre straight six in these. Had fuel injection by this point. It's a 1966 car with 69,000 miles on the clock. It's not perfect. I mean, the paintwork perhaps could do with a bit of a polish, but really, you know, excellent. I can't see any evidence of rust. I mean, it's not that long since its restoration. Looks like we might be able to get in this one. Bonus. And a rare manual, 4-speed manual. Some patina, but really very good condition in there. I'm interested to know if anyone can tell me what was the proportion of these that were manual versus auto. I thought the vast majority were auto, but I might be wrong. Lovely car, guided at 55 to 65,000 pounds. I have a real soft spot for these VAUXHALL CHEVETTE HS, the Rally Homologation Specials. This is apparently the first one ever built. It was off the road for 28 years until fairly recently when it's had a complete restoration. Everything's been done, I understand, period correct, and it looks in really lovely condition. I think it's around about 60,000 miles, and it had, 63,000 miles, guided at 32 to 36,000 pounds, which actually I don't think is so bad for one of these. I have seen them struggle in the 20s. There's some bit of damage back here. This has also got the 2.3 litre, enlarged to 2.4 in rally spec, giving 200 horsepower. Yeah, lovely car. Quite rare to see these now, and particularly in such good condition as well. So many Porsche 911s here. You can see all in a row. I didn't really know where to start, to be honest. But I always revert to the 930 Turbo, just because they're one of my favourites. This one in copper brown metallic, I think it's called. Looks awesome. I love it. This has had quite a lot done to it. Incredibly big history file. Sorry, I'm getting in people's way here. Big history file, and it's been upgraded, so it's got different exhaust manifold, I believe, intercooler. There is some paint damage here, which is a shame on an otherwise good-looking car. Intercooler, turbos, so much more power. It's got a huge history file, as I say, and I love these just because of the design of them, these massive flared arches. They're certainly of an era, and also these interiors. I just love these interiors. I can't get in, as I say. This is a 1980 car. So done pretty much 100,000 miles, and it's guided at 90 to 110,000 pounds. It's not perfect. There's some marks on the paintwork back here, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if that makes it, because it's got such a good history with it. It's got the upgraded engine specs, and it's a pretty rare colour to see these in, so lovely car. Maybe one day I'll get one when they halve in price. And here's Harry's other car that he's got in this auction, the ESPADA. It must be one of the most instantly recognisable cars there is. Iconic design. I mean, really quite amazing. So Lamborghini's 4-seater V12. Incredible cars. Few cars have ever been designed to look anything like this again. I remember seeing in his videos how much he spent on this. Lovely looking car. I think, did he win a Concours competition with this one? So a 1971 car. I think this had a full restoration in the 80s. And I'm pretty sure Harry had not only suspension, but was it a full engine rebuild as well at Ian Tyrrell's, I believe? Guided at 90 to 110,000 pounds. Lovely looking F355 Berlinetta here. Incredibly low mileage. This is less than 8,000 miles, just over 7,000 miles. I mean, I just don't understand how these cars do so little miles. It's 1998. It's a manual, and I really love the design of these. particularly from the rear. I think for me they're way better than the 360. 3.5 litre V8, but these weren't actually much less powerful than the 360 that followed. I think these were 380 horsepower. Correct me if I'm wrong. And, you know, rev happy, 8,000 RPM, over 8,000 RPM from that V8. This is in exceptionally good condition. It's actually a Ferrari that I prefer not in red. That's just personal preference. Guided at 110,000 pounds. It's a lot of money and a huge amount more than the 360s. But it's because it's ultra low mileage as well, I guess. Aston Martin Vanquish here. I don't see them very often in this colour. I think it looks good. These lovely arches I just adore on this car. Just having looked at that Scag with the Scaglietti with the window issue, I'm not sure if this also has a window issue where it's not retracting. Paintwork looks like it's average. Could just do with a bit of a polish. Quite a few very minor scratches and cleaning marks. That headlight is a bit foggy, but very few stone chips on this. V12, of course, 460 horsepower at this stage. Lovely light leather interior. And of course these had a 6-speed F1 style automated robotised manual in these. Sorry. Lovely car, 39,000 miles on the clock. Looks in really pretty good condition other than the paintwork needing a bit of a polish. And what's the guide price? And guided at 40 to 45,000, which is quite a lot for one of these. This is actually one of my favourite cars here, the Ford Thunderbird. And although I don't know much about them, it's my favourite because I just love the look of these 50s American cars. An iconic car, and this has just been incredibly well restored and rebuilt. It's a full chassis off restoration. And it's just in exceptionally good condition. I was actually looking at this for someone else who's thinking about buying it, and I was grovelling around underneath. I mean, the chassis is mint. It's really a total overhaul, incredibly well done. What's this, 320-ish cubic inch V8 in here. I'm a sucker for these 50s American interiors and dashes. 3-speed manual. And just in exquisite condition. I mean, look at it. I think this is great value, 25 to 30,000 pounds. That work was carried out in 2009 and it still looks really fresh. I think it's done 4,000 miles since that. And perhaps it's just the colour that makes it for me. Bermuda blue. GoPro isn't the best at capturing colours, so it may not look quite as good, but trust me, it looks stunning. Really interesting car here then, 1985 Ferrari 2.8 GTB Turbo. So I'm not hugely knowledgeable on these, so help me out in the comments if I get something wrong, please. But this is the 2-litre V8 version, effectively of the 308 GTB. And I believe still a V8 even at the capacity of 2 litres, and then they added a turbo, which took it to about, I think, 220 horsepower or so. And this is a really lovely condition car. I mean, this has been exceedingly well maintained and looked after, in exquisite condition. As I say, extremely low mileage, 17,000 miles or so. Yeah, really lovely car. Guided at 85 to 95,000 pounds. Beautiful. Yeah, barely a mark on this. Some very minor marks at the front on that nose. The interior, although I can't get in, looks absolutely excellent as well. Really beautiful interior. I love this era of Ferrari with that switchgear in the middle there. And for me, the right colour interior as well. This Interceptor looks lovely in this colour. I do like it. It's a 1975, obviously convertible. Quite rare, the convertibles, less than 300 of these made. Famous, of course, for having that massive 7-litre Chrysler V8 in it. This one looks fairly good condition. Apparently only, odometer showing only 25,000 miles, which is just incredible. It's an automatic, torque converter has been replaced in recent years. Looks in pretty good condition. Yeah, I've just looked in here. This is classic in these Interceptors. You can see here the torn seats. These do seem to suffer really badly. I mean, if that really is only 25,000 miles, it hasn't worn particularly well. I know it's an old car. Perhaps I should cut it some slack. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. And is guided at 28 to 32,000 pounds, which doesn't sound too excessive. It generally looks pretty good condition. I think it might struggle to make quite that, but nevertheless, not a silly guide price. Yeah, legendary Mark I Lotus Cortina here, and this is 1965, owned for something like 40 years or so, in the classic colours. Apparently it's had an older restoration, still looks in excellent condition, although yeah, no, it's all good, I think. It's a shadow. Yeah, it looks in very good condition. Guided really high though. I mean, you know, I've seen these been selling for quite a lot less than they used to, you know, in the 20s. This one is guided, I think, 35 to 40,000 pounds. I don't know, yeah, I think it'll struggle to make that. From what I've seen, these have struggled to make those kind of prices recently. You know, I'd say that's the pricing of quite some years ago now. Not taking away from the fact it does look a really nice example. I just think the money's a bit strong. And by contrast, it's next to a Ford Escort Mexico, so obviously the Mark I. This is 1975. And this one seems guided quite low in a way, 25 to 30,000 pounds. It's got, apparently it's got a very good history. Looks in really excellent condition. I haven't grovelled around under these like I have to many cars. My knees have taken a bit of a battering today. But on the face of it, looks like a lovely car. It's got the 1.6 Kent Crossflow, 4-speed manual. And given what Mexicos seem to, you know, used to be selling in the 40s, excellent ones, a lot more than that. I mean, Concours conditions I've seen sell for 80,000 or so in the last couple of years. So that looks like it could be a good buy. Beautiful car here that I would absolutely love. It's a V12 Vantage. I think it's about 32,000 miles. These had the 6-litre naturally aspirated V12, of course. This has got tons of carbon all over it. Carbon splitter at the front. And of course these chucked out 510 horsepower, I think, in this 2011 model. But this has had an extra 80 horsepower added to it, courtesy of a Bamford Rose Stage 3 update. So Bamford Rose, famous company dealing with Aston Martin, servicing and upgrades. I think the power comes from high-flow cats, exhaust manifold and remap. And that's a lot of extra power. I bet this is lovely to drive. More carbon at the back here. Really lovely car. And guided at 60 to 70,000 pounds. I can't see much wrong with that. Really lovely car. 2002 Ferrari 360. Despite the F1 number plate, it's actually a 6-speed manual gearbox, so command quite a lot more money, the gated manuals. This looks in really nice condition. Can't see any sticky switch evidence in there. Black interior. Personally, I prefer the Kramer, the cream leather in these. It's just personal preference. Looks in really excellent condition though. Pininfarina designed. This was still naturally aspirated at this point, the V8 in this, 400 horsepower. Quite a different design from the 355 before it, which I actually prefer in terms of design and looks. Nice car though, just under 40,000 miles and guided at 55 to 65,000 pounds. 1991 Aston Martin Virage here. 5.3 litre V8 in these, of course. Some damage at the front, in fact some fairly major damage down here. I did wonder how good this would be, purely because the guide price is fairly cheap, 20 to 25,000 pounds. Mileage is around about 70,000 miles. And there's a bit of a ding here as well. Interior looks worn, particularly the driver's bolster, can't get in. So perhaps not all that surprising that this is cheaper end of the spectrum for a Virage. Sorry guys, that's my one, sorry.
Yours, is it?
Yeah. Someone trying to steal my brochure there. Yeah, what was I saying? Got distracted by rescuing my brochure there that someone was walking off with. So yeah, perhaps not surprising. Did these in auto and manual. This is an auto. I think ropey ones of these do struggle to make around 20, so that sounds about right. And another really beautiful car here. Ferrari, 2005 Ferrari, 612 Scaglietti. I love the colour. And the tan leather interior. Do they call it tan? Tobacco? Help me out there. So actually rare that this is a manual, 6-speed gated manual transmission. Of course, it was the 575 that moved predominantly to the F1 gearbox. And it was rarer to get the manuals then, many more manuals in the 550s, but quite rare to find in this era, the 612. So that's nice. This has only done nearly 8,000 miles. I mean, incredibly low. It's had an excellent service history, really well looked after car. The only thing I could find is some stone chips on the bonnet and what looks like a kind of bird poo stain. The main thing I'd worry about, these are all locked, but this driver's window hasn't retracted fully. So I think the 456s could have quite a lot of issues with those windows. In fact, I saw one recently that had an issue. I think this might be a separate issue. Whether it's really a problem or not, I haven't investigated. But something to note. And this one guided at 100 to 120,000 pounds. What a car. Another DB7 Virage Volante here, which is interesting because this one is so much cheaper, 12 to 15,000 pounds, which is a lot less than the other one, like half the price. It's only done 46,000 miles. On the face of it, I can't see exactly why that is, other than the fact that this is an auto, the other was a manual. And there's definitely some wear on the seats, but really nothing major. Yeah, interesting. I mean, the paintwork looks like it could do with a bit of a polish, but I struggle to see why that's half the price of the other one we looked at earlier. Some marks on the front, but that could be a good buy, you know. Quick look here, because it's not very easy to view this. As you can see, it's fenced off. This is Rowan Atkinson's E-Type, 1963 Series 1, 3.8. And apparently being sold no reserve. So very interesting to see what that makes. Beautiful looking car. How shiny those wheels are, wow. Clearly a well cared for car, looks excellent inside as well. So place your bets. So modern Mercedes, or relatively modern Mercedes, you split opinion on my channel, but I'm featuring this one anyway. It's an R230 era SL55 AMG with the F1 pack. So that F1 pack was a fairly rare option on these. 8.5 grand it cost. I think it added a slip diff, limited slip diff, some performance, different suspension. Did it have a slight different styling on the bonnet? Perhaps someone can let me know. This one is pretty low mileage, under 50,000 miles. They were still using the same M113K engine, just under 500 horsepower, and of course called the F1 pack because these went around the F1 track as the head of the races, the safety car. This looks in really nice condition. I can't see much wrong with this. I don't believe they came as standard with that carbon boot lip. Again, perhaps someone could let me know, showing my lack of knowledge. And this is guided at £30,000 to £35,000. It's an awful lot of money for an SL55. But it's hard to find one low mileage, and it's even harder to find an F1 pack. Personally, I think that's pretty strong money, but we'll see. Interesting Porsche 911 here, 1989. It's a Carrera 3.2 Sport. And interesting for a couple of reasons. It's in this, I think it's called Velvet Red Metallic, which has got a ton of metallic flecks in it, and I don't think I've really seen this paint colour before. It's got the G50 later gearbox, much more desirable, apparently much better. Very high mileage, this. 127,000 miles, but another one that looks in really excellent condition. There was a minor mark at the back here I found, but you know, there really are some top quality cars here. And really interesting colour. And as I say, I don't think I've seen one in this colour before. So despite that really high mileage, this is guided at 45 to 50,000 pounds even. So here we've got the modern RS 500 limited edition Focus RS next to the classic Focus RS 500, obviously a legendary car again, this 1987 RS 500, limited edition, 500 of these made, of course. And this has had an extensive restoration. Paintwork is exceptionally good. It does actually comment in the description how many layers of paint it's had, and it does look good. I mean, I actually think this is a relative bargain. It's done a few hundred miles since this full restoration. It's got the correct spec engine. You know, I'm not sure if it's quite a nut and bolt rebuild, but I think almost, particularly in the engine bay by the sounds of it. An excellent condition car. 31,000 miles on the clock and guided at 75 to 95,000 pounds. I mean, I think that is really good value. When you consider that I saw one of these sell for, was it £100,000? I think it was much higher mileage at the start of the year. So sure, it's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I could see this one making that all day and actually being, as these fast forwards go, relatively good value. Here's a really lovely looking 1975 Alfa Romeo GT Veloce. Sorry. Obviously the 2000. And this has had a ton spent on it. Mechanical work, engine rebuild. Paintwork looks excellent. I can't get in, but that is a beautiful interior as well. But this doesn't come cheap. This is guided at 45 to 55,000 pounds. It's an awful lot of money. It's a lovely looking car. No hint of rust that you often get on these age Alphas. But yeah, that is a lot of money. It'd be interesting to see if it makes anywhere near that. Yet another really rare car here. A 1970 Lancia Fulvia Fanaloni 1600. So this is race spec car basically. Looks amazing in this Marlboro livery. And these were 1600cc, full race spec, as I say, only weighed just over 800 kilograms. I think they pushed out 150 horsepower, just under. High revving engine. I don't know huge amounts about these, I'm afraid, but the price of this I found quite amazing, 60 to 80,000 pounds. Lovely car though. A fairly rare Mercedes SL here, obviously a R129 era SL, and this is an SL 600. So the V12, 6 litre, Obviously naturally aspirated at this stage before they moved to the M275 twin-turbo V12. These chucked out about 390 horsepower. Silky smooth V12 power. It's got lovely split rim AMG alloys. It's had about 12 grand spent on it in the last couple of years. A lot of that at the SL shop, famous for doing obviously SL work. Looks lovely condition. Comes with a mohair soft top. And generally looks in really nice condition. It's quite low mileage. I think it's 59,000 miles, so quite low for one of these at least. Year 2000. Overall looks excellent condition. Unfortunately though, as I was groveling around underneath, it is quite wet underneath. There's a fairly major oil leak, I think. And it, you know, possibly it's just leaking from the sump or something. I don't know. I'm not mechanically minded enough to know, but it would be enough for me to not want it. Definitely dripping and quite a lot of oil leaking from underneath. Guided at 25 to 30,000 pounds. Quite a lot of money when it's got a significant oil leak, but maybe people won't notice that. So many good quality cars, not like my usual videos where I'm picking out everything that's wrong with the cars and probably getting criticised for it, so sorry about that. But I thought I'd show this one because I can show some things that are wrong with it. So this is a Porsche 911, it's a 964 era car, 1990. It's a Carrera 2, obviously a cabriolet and a manual. And, you know, it's still a good looking car, don't get me wrong. So this one just has a few issues. It's 103,000 miles. It's guided at 30 to 35,000 pounds. It looks like it's had some paint work round here and potentially some damage. The same on the other side. And the driver's seat bolster looks pretty worn. So with so many other good 911s, it'd be interesting to see if that really gets anywhere near that reserve. Here's a C2 Corvette Stingray. The paintwork looks like it could do with a good polish. Nothing wrong with it, just a bit dull. Being a bit critical, this has had a 350 cubic inch V8 fitted at the cost of 10 grand just a few years ago. This has done 63,000 miles, guided at 48 to 52. So these are mid-60s, obviously, these C2 Corvettes. Great design. Does need, sorry mate, does need a good polish on that red paint though. But in general, looks in really good condition. Actually a bit of damage along this sill. Very dark here. The interior doesn't look quite so good. A little bit untidy, but you know, it's a 50s car. I'm not sure it's quite a 50 grand car, if I'm honest. Another rare and very interesting car here, a 240Z Super Samurai. A really limited edition version of the 240Z. This is 1974. I think there was something like 176 of these made. This is a certified example. They came with this paintwork as standard. I'm not sure they came with this or not. Obviously, normally a 2.4 litre straight six in these. I believe these were bought out to 2.6 litres. I'm not 100% sure on these, so help me out if you can in the comments. Usually 150 horsepower. I don't know what they made in this Super Samurai format. That looks like an aftermarket larger exhaust, perhaps. Lovely, lovely example of a really rare car. 5-speed manual, of course. Sorry, very dark in there. And I've seen 240Z struggle to sell a bit, but this is a really rare special edition. 85,000 miles and guided at 42 to 46,000 pounds. It's a lot of money, isn't it? Exceptionally well looked after, though. I haven't seen a Samurai come up for sale, so I really couldn't tell you if that's likely to make it or not. We'll find out. This could be a cheap car, a Rover P4, 1962. It's a 100, and this really predates most of my car knowledge, I'm afraid. But I believe this was the kind of last iteration and best iteration of the P4. Better suspension, more powerful engine, obviously. I think this is 2.6. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, straight six. And this is no reserve. They estimate it'll be about £4,000 to £6,000. I mean, that seems like a total bargain to me. Okay, it's not in the best condition. The paintwork looks a little bit dull and tired, but really, I mean, not bad condition at all. And I can't remember the last time I've seen one of these. Lovely. Seemingly ubiquitous Maserati Coupe, 4200 GT. This is 2004, so the V8, 4.2 V8 shared with the Ferrari platform. And this I'm just featuring because it seemed like really good value. £9,000 to £11,000, but really low mileage for one of these. They're often quite high miles. It could do with a good polish. There's a lot of swirl marks all over this, but that's kind of superficial. I've not had an extremely good look around this. It does look as though it's got the sticky switch issue though, and perhaps that's why that's a fairly sensible guide price. I actually went to look at one of these not that long ago. It was very, very keenly priced. But the sticky switches were so bad that when I touched one, I was just covered in that rubber, and it took me a long time to get off. I'm struggling to see in there, I can't get in, but you can see that some of the black has come off the switches and they've turned white, and the vent grills clearly look sticky. But even so, 32,000 miles, £9,000 to £11,000 could still be good value. I've not checked out the provenance and service history, which is all important on these though. A couple of slightly more modern cars. E92 M3, of course, here. The only ever V8 M3 that they've done. I used to own one of these, great car. Not hugely powerful. What were they? 414? Does that sound right? Came with a carbon roof, of course. But high revving, legendary engine this. As long as you sort out the rod bearings and throttle actuators, they should be good. Rev to over 8,500 RPM, sound brilliant while they're doing it. And this one I think is a bit of a bargain. 86,000 miles, looks in really excellent condition, and guided at 14,000 to 18,000 pounds. I can't see it going as cheap as 14. I mean, these have got good value now. Yeah, perhaps I'll be surprised. But I think at 14, that's a good buy. Manual gearbox. Most of these are, I've seen why actually. The driver's seat bolster is quite torn and scruffy actually. So that's probably why it's a cheaper guide price. Most of these came with the SMG. Mine had the dual clutch 7-speed as well. So yeah, perhaps I take that back. I think that will put a lot of buyers off if they see that seat bolster, to be honest. So this actually looks like a fairly reasonably priced Scooby Impreza P1. Limited edition, what were these, 1,000 of these. And this is done 69,000 miles, guided at 25,000 to 30,000 pounds. I mean, that sounds fairly sensible for one of these, I have to say. They often get really overinflated prices, guide prices, in my humble opinion. This doesn't look perfect, but it's in fairly good nick for that money, I think. So nice to see a more sensible price on this. Interior looks reasonably good as well. Drove a corner here. I'm not going to dwell much, but just to show you, there's a couple of interesting ones actually. Got a, is this marine blue, do they call it? Series 1, 1956, 80-inch, 6-inch wheelbase. I've not seen a nice shiny one like this before. Lovely paint job for a long time. Recent auctions all seem to have been the more rustic ones. This is guided at 25,000 to 30,000 pounds, and a Defender Taipan, so gun mount army vehicle, 2008, guided at 30,000 to 40,000 pounds, and an early Series 2 here, so 1961. Again, a nice shiny one for 25,000 to 28,000 pounds. That's a lot of money for a Series 2. Mine's the other end of the extremes of these, and mine is quite horrible condition, but I love it anyway. And I've also got one of these, a Defender Wolf. Mine is in, it's a 110. It's in, you know, the only colour to have it in my opinion, NATO green. I don't like this because I don't quite know why you'd have a wolf and then modify it like this. Why would you not just get a non-army spec one and do this? Because this has got, you know, different lights, different grille. Still got, by the looks of it, the original attachments, the Pioneer toolkit as they call it. But you know, the pickaxe is painted in a cream colour. I don't know. And maybe I'm too much of a traditionalist, but I like my wolves to be original. But this is done to an extremely high standard, don't get me wrong, it's just not to my taste. Canvas hood, of course, these would have come with the PVC Army spec hood at this point, which was actually much more durable than the canvas. So, yeah, I can see why people do this to, this would have been a 300 TDI at the time. I can see why people would do that to a normal one, but I don't quite get why you'd do it to a wolf. Perhaps that's just me. Guided at 25 to 28,000 pounds, 125,000 kilometres on the clock. Yeah, perhaps someone likes it, but it's not for me. Just a very quick look here at what I think is one of the most ridiculous cars Mercedes ever did. It's the ML63 AMG. And you know, this is a big family SUV wagon, mid-2000s, that they decided to put the M156 engine in, the 6.2 naturally aspirated motorsport engine, 500-ish horsepower. Bit more in this one. Just a bit of a silly car, really. Well, what an auction. I mean, just a staggering amount of cars, but also the quality of the cars was excellent. In the iconic sale, the overall quality was superb. I mean, really rare to see an auction full of so many top quality cars. Obviously not everything, and there were some poorer quality ones. And indeed, you know, even down to kind of barn find condition in their classic auction. But overall, just incredible array of cars. I mean, too many for me to get around, obviously, so I'm sure I've missed many that you probably would have wanted to see, so sorry about that. I could only get around so many. But a fantastic day. One of the highlights for me was actually meeting so many people who were channel viewers coming up to me, saying some kind words, meeting people from all over the country and indeed all over the world. It was great to meet so many fellow car enthusiasts. And fantastic to see some famous cars there as well, Rowan Atkinson's, and of course a couple of Harry Metcalfe's car as well. Having viewed them on his channel, great to see them in the metal. Not all cars did well, but there were 11 world records at this auction. So Harry's Jag set a world record, the RS200S was a world record. There was a world record for Capri 280 Brooklands, selling for 63,000. There was a Freelander Camel Trophy Edition, 53,000. So really across the board, some varied world records there. I don't think it's a trend though. Really interested to hear what you think in the comments, but my feeling about the iconic auction is that it gets such incredibly high footfall, so people viewing the cars and general interest because of where it's hosted at the Classic Motor Show at the NEC. Huge numbers of people. If you think about many of the other auction houses, you know, they get very, very few people relative to that. Not only that, I think Iconic get huge value from their celebrity advocacy, particularly, for example, Harry Metcalfe through Harry's Garage, where he gets hundreds of thousands of views on their auctions. You know, this is good advertising for them. It gets people interested. And of course, Johnny Smith on Late Break Show does perhaps the cheaper end of the spectrum classic cars at Iconic as well. So for those reasons, I think there's a lot of prestige around some of the Iconic sales. They also do attract, in my opinion, some of the best quality cars in that Iconic sale. And so I don't think this is the trend. I think this is the exception. For all those reasons, I think sometimes cars at these Iconic sales make a little higher than they might do otherwise. Interested to hear what you think on that. I guess we will find out soon over the coming months and next year how auction prices go, but I would be surprised if you know, these record high prices, these are anomalies for particularly special cars. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did going around the cars. It was a fantastic day and something I look forward to already next year, actually. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon.